I'm Grace Torrey, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Grace Torrey, and I am back with a whole new podcast episode. This is one of those episodes where I don't really know what I'm going to talk about yet. I'm just going to kind of talk and see where we end up. So you know what we're talking about because the title is going to tell you, but I don't really know yet. These are kind of my favorite to film because I feel like they surprisingly do really well compared to my planned researched episodes, and you guys seem to enjoy them, so I enjoy them, so it kind of works out. I don't know, but I just felt like today we were going to talk about trying to find balance. This is where my head's at. Maybe we'll go here, trying to find balance between working hard and grinding for 2024 and then also resting and enjoying the holidays as we go into 2024. So that's probably what I'm going to start talking about, and then maybe if there's a shift or something, we'll find out. I don't know. That's what we're starting with. I don't really have a life update. I haven't been doing life updates lately. I just feel like you guys, if you want to hear a major life update, then it's gonna be on the Instagram. And I'll post all about it, and so I feel like you guys don't really care, and I don't want to talk about things if you don't care, and there's not really much going on. We're just doing Christmas stuff. I cleaned the house, finished decorating. We're gonna go to a little Christmas market, so that's really what's up. There's not anything crazy going on, so like I said, I don't really want to talk about anything crazy if there isn't, and make a big deal out of nothing, and talk about life if my life is just I mop the floors, you know? So I definitely post all of that on my Instagram, so if you want more life updates and things like that, go ahead and follow that, no problem. I just am probably only gonna do big life updates if there are big things to talk about, and there just hasn't been lately. So yeah, I guess we'll just go ahead and jump on in. So I am kind of in a phase where I'm trying to learn to balance rest and hard work. And as you guys know, I've been really trying to err on the side of rest because I haven't rested in so long, but I also am motivated to do a ton of things lately, so I want to make sure I do those things, and I have some fresh ideas and I get really excited and I want to do the ideas, but it's it's just, I don't want to burn myself out. I want to make sure I'm resting. So I think this episode is kind of going to be a town hall, because I'm just going to talk about a lot of things going on that I'm working on, or I'm trying to not work on so much, and you guys can just kind of hear what's coming for the podcast. If you are someone who is trying to balance work and rest, you can also kind of hear how I've been doing it. So it's going to be a combination of things, from announcements for the podcast to just learning to be a normal human being who knows how to balance things and doesn't have crazy anxiety. So I probably took the last 2 weeks or so to just kind of rest and do what I felt I don't know, just what I felt like doing. I didn't do anything that I didn't want to, because I felt like a lot of the things I've been doing, even though I love the podcast and I'm so passionate about it, I felt like I was forcing myself to. Even filming episodes, there were so many times just recently where I've been I don't want to film, I don't want to write an outline, I don't want to do this, and I had to force myself to, because obviously I want the podcast to keep going, and I think it's coming from a place of I was just so burnt out that I didn't want to do anything. So I kind of took some time to be well, if you don't want to do it, even if it's the long-term goal you want, but you don't want to do the stuff to get there, then don't do it. So I kind of took a break, and it worked out because I was also sick. So that definitely played a role, and I kind of forced myself to not do anything and just chill out and get better from that. So we are kind of at a weird in-between where I'm not sick anymore, but I still am kind of sick. I'm taking allergy medication, and it's kind of working for the most part, even though I know it's not allergies. I think it's more of a sinusy thing, but that's besides the point. But one thing I did say on the podcast that I was talking about last night is or did I say the podcast? On the Instagram that I was talking about last night. I have so many things going on constantly. You guys know that I have a lot of side hustles, a lot of things that I'm working on, and I feel like I haven't made the podcast my main priority that I go hard for in probably a year, maybe a little longer. Just because, like, I've been working on so many things, and while I'm still doing it, I'm still pushing and I'm still putting my heart into it. I'm not putting all of my effort into it because I wanted so many things to go well, and I had my eggs in like 5 different baskets, and sometimes I would have 4 eggs in one basket and 1 egg in the podcast basket, and I was still always doing the podcast, but I wasn't giving it my full attention. And so I kind of sat down and said to myself, out of all of these projects, what is the one you are most passionate about, and what is the one you want to do long term? And obviously that was the podcast. That's always been my plan. I think everything else has just kind of been things that I've hoped have taken off to give me more time to work on the podcast and that thing. So I was like, you know what, you need to just kind of chill on all those other things and prioritize the podcast. So that was the first thing I did when learning how to like balance rest and hard work, is I looked at everything I was doing, and while the other things aren't necessarily bad, and I don't think they're things that I'm gonna not do forever, some of them I'm still actively doing. It's just I'm not putting any marketing or anything crazy into it, and whatever happens kind of happens situation. That was the first thing I did, is I just kind of sat down and said, okay, I need to get serious. If I'm going to get serious about anything, what is it going to be? And then everything else just needs a second. We need to take a step back. So after doing that, I told myself that that's great. Now that I know what I'm going to do, how am I going to get to the point where I'm coming up with new ideas, and how am I going to remarket? Because I think in 2024, the podcast is going to be marketed a lot differently. I've already started to. It's going to be the same exact thing. I'm not changing the podcast cover. I'm not changing like the theme, or obviously all the topics are going to be the same. But I do want to change how I market it, because I feel like there's a lot of, I almost feel like the podcast has so much potential, and it like it's something that once it's marketed to the right audience, it's going to be really, really well received. It's just a matter of finding that audience, and that's kind of been my struggle, is like getting the word out about it to the right people. So I almost feel like I'm just like doing something a little off, and that's why it's not being like growing exponentially. Wow, I can't talk. Like, if I just tweak something a little bit, it's going to grow exponentially. Does that make sense? I'm trying to figure out what that thing is that I can tweak so that it has that impact and it does start growing at a much faster rate. Not from like a, you know, I love you guys and I love the amount of you that there are right now. That's not like the thing. Like, I would do this if there was one person listening. I would do this probably if there was no people, because it's important to me, and I know I believe in it, and I know that eventually that will happen. But and I love the guy, like, even if I'm helping one person, that's enough for me. But from a marketing standpoint, I am very marketing minded. I'm gonna do the most effective marketing. So if I'm doing something and it's not working, and there's something out there that I can pivot to that is gonna work better, obviously I'm gonna do that. So that's kind of what my focus has been. I'm a very work smarter, not harder person. Oh my gosh, someone just ran by with 2 German Shepherds. That's so cute. I love that for them. Okay. I'm a work smarter, not harder person. So if there is one thing I can do to market that is more effective than doing 3 things, then I'm going to do that one thing, you know? I'm a huge, huge advocate for work smarter, not harder. Obviously, working hard is still very important, but efficiency is everything. Being efficient is what's going to get you where you need to go in the amount of time you need to do it, and combining efficiency and working hard is when you make an impact and things start really working. So I need to find the most successful thing and pair it with working hard to make things happen at a much faster rate, if possible. Like, obviously, this is just like me theorizing and like just kind of feeling like there's something out there, but like, even if there's not, you know, whatever. So, putting my marketing cap on, I'm just trying a lot of new different things. I've kind of talked about it already, how I changed up the TikTok, and I'm posting on more different social media websites that I haven't, not websites, it is 2023, almost 2024, apps. So sorry. I'm posting on apps that I wasn't necessarily posting on before, just to kind of see what different things come from that. I'm changing up thumbnails for YouTube. I'm trying to maybe name it differently. Like, I'm just doing those kinds of things. So that's the second way that I am trying to balance rest and hard work, is limiting the amount of hard work that I'm doing, because I know that I'm just doing way too much right now. So I'm trying to work smarter, not harder, and find those things that allow me more balance, because I have to do less to get more of an outcome, which is literally for anything in life. That's really what it's all about. Like, that's how you master it, in a sense, and maintain balance, is you find that sweet spot where you're good at it and things are happening, but it's also not taking over your life and allowing you the space to be creative and recharge and all those good things. So that's number 2, right? Number 2. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I said that like there was going to be like more steps. Like, no, that's really where we're at. I really want to have more guests on, so definitely let me know by commenting if you're able to. If not, if you want to DM me who you want to be on the podcast. If you're a podcaster and you want to be on the podcast, would love to have you. Just let me know, kind of who you are, what you do, and what you could bring to the podcast, like what we would talk about, and I'd be happy to, look at it and see what we can do. If you have a favorite podcaster and you want me to be on their podcast, or want them to be on my podcast, words are hard, then definitely let me know as well. I'm just kind of like trying to make some things happen. I feel like I haven't given the podcast all of my undivided attention and given it a fair shot, because I am so everywhere across the charts, all over everything at all times. So I don't know why this episode is so short, you guys. I feel like episodes are just gonna be shorter during the holidays, as we're trying to balance like Christmas and everything going on. But I also feel like that's not necessarily a bad thing, because you guys are probably spending more time with your family as well, as you should be. So you probably aren't spending as much time like sitting around listening to podcasts. So I thought this would be a lot longer, but I'm out of things to talk about already. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna sit down and write like a schedule, and I'm gonna have a lot of podcasts coming out. Like, I need to do winter fashion guide, winter kind of like hot girl winter advice, 2024 planning. I still need to do all of those before January, so there's definitely a lot coming. Just not today. I didn't get to it today because I was cleaning and doing all those things. But now that I've gotten that out of the way, that's going to be my next focus. So the next few episodes are probably going to actually be really good, packed, long episodes. So definitely stay tuned for that. That's what's coming up, a little glimpse for you guys. Now that I think about it, they probably actually will be long, good filled episodes. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So sorry this wasn't longer. I think this was just a little town hall to see what is up, kind of talk about what the plan is, and keep you guys involved and like aware of what the heck is going on. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you watched this whole thing, comment a snowflake emoji down below if you're on YouTube, so that I know that you watched it. That would be so cool. And don't forget to follow on whatever platform you're currently listening or watching on, as well as on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok. Those are all 3 down below. But yeah, I upload every single Sunday and Wednesday. If you're watching this on a Sunday, I hope you have a great Sunday night. If you're watching this any other day, I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, or night. And I'll see you in my next podcast episode. Bye guys. Love you.
You was the first